All right, so it's September 24th, 2020. The New York landscape painted all wrong future completely. All of the Jesuit work that I did at age 4 clearly meant absolutely nothing to humans because they're 100% failure. The thing is that we said, one, there's in New York, I don't know everywhere else, but in New York, the FBI had on the back the most, kids that were missing, not most wanted, just kids that were missing on the back of the milk carton. Predominantly, they were the same color as what was in the carton at first for a while, because that's what I needed in order to get a message out to other patriots. I was deemed the last known American patriot to be born. The year was 1978, and the Department of State health record said New York. It's where I still am. That's where the lunch lady, Judith, being my Aunt Judy, Judy for short, was, and there was a telephone cord with a wire that I would have to sit in the kitchen, which was all of, I mean, maybe you had about a clearance of 2.5 feet at the most between the stove and the countertop, that I would sit on a stool on the phone with a crayon or pencil and paper and try to listen for my Jesuit meetings for them to advise me and to advise my love and his doll back and forth. Because my betrothed, it is I am love, or no, I'm doll, he's love, and then betrothed is the relationship that we speak only to one another. Judy was my God's witness, myself being Goddess Nyx, because I needed an adult for spelling or to get the caricatures of the letters, the American language letters correct, as I spoke to overseas and Jesuit communities, since we spoke that they knew in New York. Nobody spoke of it, knew what it was. I mean, I was having a really hard time being alive. I mean, luckily I had Judy, but I only had Judy on visitation rights, like when she could get me from Linda. Other than that, it was a really hard existence being human, where I was thrown into uterus and then into the hospital and into human skin. At a cryogenic standpoint, they understand that. All right, so let's think about this. All right, so we were speaking, we had time torsion. That was an up ahead problem. I said, and then they had to say, listen, the humans use this word called predominantly. It's spelled P-R-E. P-R-E is usually, we've given warning ahead of time, and then NOTRE DOMUS, N-O-T-R-E, DOM, D-O-M, so it's pre-dom, and then to Christian nation is U.S.A. Don't want to upset the HEBRONICS that we have living in synagogue, not temple, but synagogue. Some of them call it temple, but don't get crazy because you know what you look like. And if you don't, you will. And there's a big difference for those of you who've never made it outside of the continental coastal. So that was the message at age 4. Somewhere between I was born in 1978, so somewhere between 1980, and I think we gave a year of 1984 to keep the Reich and the Reich in a predominant order, not to upset the Soviet, because I was still a Soviet, and for them, I was for Germanic, who had a understanding of the occult in a Jesuit appreciation. I called them my Nazi fathers in committee, N-A-Z-I, in a respectful manner, because they knew more than I did as an American. I was still the Soviet, the one Soviet, an American patriot that they would not yell at, they promised. And then I had my other non-friendly Nazis that didn't like the Nazis at all. I said, that's fine, that's fine, that's fine. I have a lot of dads I have to make nice with, and for me, that's a respectful word they asked me to use. I said, okay, so I'm looking for a respectful four-letter word for you, and I believe that's where we came up with SSIA, SSIA, for anything that liked Soviets and was not friendly with a Nazi. Fine. We got over it. I was 4. I didn't know what any of it meant anyway. None of the adults talked about it. So it was all new jargon, Jargon. We were making our own biblical theologian Bible of what was acceptable and what wouldn't make us angry in this next endeavor from predominantly Christian nation with in New York, a higher... Do I call you Jewish? I mean, I don't know. I'm Jewish, Hebrew, the synagogue ones that were here, and I mean, you know who you are. But yeah, okay, so like, and then again, when in Rome, because Caesar, which is what I am as a Jesuit, I'm Caesar's wife, I'm Czarina, in Rome, it's a pagan, they were pagan gods, the Caesars, the Caesar and his wife, Czarina. So it was still the same, and we had the we had the church, which was the defense, the ministry. It was also the way of getting the word to the masses and educating the people. And then it was also, we had, we called them the Jewish tax collectors for the banking and for the monetary and for the congruence of the appreciation that we all get along. I'm still going that you're all respectable in that manner. Whatever you learned about Romans in historical context, I don't give a shit. None of it was true anyway. I mean, it might have been, but we're not going there. If it's going to make you angry, shut the fuck up. And that's the way it works. That's it. If Nazi makes you upset, great. Somewhere in the world, it makes a dad very happy. They were very knowledgeable and they were very kind to me. That's all you have to know. That's all that matters. Somewhere in the world, they liked the word Soviet, they hated Nazi. I was fine with that. I said, there's a lot of anger in the world. I'm Czarina, I'm a star-born, betrothed Jesuit. I hear that I'm the last known American-looking patriot on record. The known. I mean, there's a lot of unknowns, but I'm the known one for America in New York. And it's going to get a little daunting in my lifetime. I'm trying to have the humans elsewhere not punish me for being Caesar's wife and a Jesuit betrothed. I'm trying to have them not expunge my ability to remember and recall my 4-year-old conversations with every security guard known on the planet, trying to make nice and meaning it. Let's think about this. And that was it. So my mission completely failed. Somewhere between 1984, 85, and to just recently, 2020. I mean, it is like if you put a light bulb in and you touch the wires but you don't secure the wires together and they come in and out and they flicker. That's kind of how my memory has been and how I've been working. I mean, I just go throughout the day. They've really fucked this life up in order to gain gamma science. I mean, they lie to the public and the unbeknownst that don't even know gamma is a science field that's already been discovered. We've already known it for millions of years. We're trying to protect the equipment and from the assholes that keep trying to gain access to it. I don't know why my 4-year-old warning with my love as his doll, as his nesting doll, I'm the one who's supposed to have all of his children. I mean, I would still be an American patriot even if I had to travel overseas or to planetary peacefulness elsewhere. That's how we work. I don't know why you would force me to study this gamma field and short and long-term radio length science that we already know about, allow them to make my set solid switch into a blinking light, here's what happens. There's stability in the universe. It's called irrational stability. That's where I was headed with my Prince Charming I was born for, and I just wanted him. I didn't want sex with other humans. I didn't want I didn't want to have to search. I didn't want to have to think like a human. Like, how am I going to meet a mate? Like, I mean, why bother? I mean, this is disgusting, whatever. And yet, that's what you made me do. I had to think like a human and like, totally in disgust, by the way, about how you conduct yourselves, going, this is it? This is what you got? Like, why bother? We're keeping them on. Okay. So that happened. And then it was like, I got Romer and Tia Friel. I didn't fucking want them. No thanks. Meant for other stuff. But that's irrational. I can explain it to you, stupid fucking useless ass humans that raped me, molested me, expunged my ability to recall, totally molested the equipment, the society, and the system to benefit only yourselves and to profit from it and then hide and then move dangerous operatives into my predominantly Christian nation. There is, let's think about this. So in poly mathematics and poli science in a high level, for those of you who went to a New York public school education where they don't teach such things, when you say the word rational numbers in high poly scientific means it's instability. It means that the particles, they move erratically, and they're dangerous. They're free radicals. They're dangerous to your skin and to your anatomy. So what my betrothed and I were trying to do was to secure the equipment causing, which was the study of time and space, once everybody started going to the moon, and jiggling all of the particles on the road with all of these vehicles. It made it very unstable for your anatomy to live with all of the noise pollution and all of the erratic radicalization of particles around your anatomy, which is causing massive sickness and you to age horribly. And a weight factor that is not anatomically proper to a BMI, but whatever. And then we were trying to stabilize when you are irrational in poly mathematics and science, you take the instability out of and you try to stabilize the gamma field factor around the anatomical and make it a more healthy, suitable environment. So this way the anatomy is not hit by, I call it phantom particle waves, because you can't see them, but they exist, and they harm you, although your anatomy's tuned out, like it tunes it out like a radio station, so you're not constantly feeling pain all day long. So that's what we were working on at age 4. We wrote some legislation, he and I, and expected the humans to honor and acknowledge it and to not expunge my memory and not cause the instability to continue and get worse. Because right now, I can see on my Lightyear equipment, there's actually, like, my face will stretch in a photo, like it looks like a stretched photo. That's because there's so much instability in New York at the moment within the rational free radicals, that all the noise pollution and the air pollution, I mean, it is, and then you've got the cell tower waves and so on and so forth. It is a real disaster right now, and I don't even know if any of you are even aware of it.